If that water wet, it's got gators in it.
Oh, yeah? Well, me and the Lord, we got an understanding. We're on a mission from God.
Because, remember, no matter where you go, there you are.
They shouldn't have given you ashy blokes YouTube.
Cursed be the ground, for our sake. Both thorns and thistles it shall bring forth for us. For out of the ground we were taken, for the dust we are. And to the dust we shall return.
All right, you dusty Jerome's, you Ashy Jeffries, and you Dirty Foot Jose's, because I know you Negroes are going down to Columbia and making a home. Okay, so now we can't call you Jerome. We can't call you Jermaine. We can't call you Jeffrey. You're Jose now, Dirty Foot Jose. That's what you are now. All right. Anyway, leading off, Black Toxic Masculinist. Leading off, batting second, Shannon Moore. Okay. Batting third, Saint Cyr. And AL with the cleanup. Okay. Martin Muhammad just getting through yesterday's stream on the Gynocracy Wild Beach. Just laughed my ass off. Adric, what's going on? About business, what's up? Terrell, what's going on? J-Dog, what's happening? Scorpion Black, what's going on? Tao, Shalom. These guys ahead of me have a bot in your computer, bro. They know that you're what you're thinking. I guess so. Kevin, what's going on? You losing? Well, I've been tracked for good at least 25 years. At least 25 years, probably more than that. I mean, I used to they used to cut off my service, my internet service, for months at a time. So I had to. That's how come I went from wired, which is DSL, to cable modems, is because I got tired of them unplugging my internet. They would just walk into the server room, just unplug me, and then nobody could figure out why. Illusion, what's up? Do you think porn has hurt or helped more marriages? I don't think it's had an effect one way or the other. Porn's been around for a long time. I don't think it's had an effect one way or the other. Marriage is what's affected marriage more is one, the birth control pill, and then secondly, well, feminism number one. I say the birth control pill is number two, and I think third is no fault divorce. 1, 2, 3. Gundam, what's going on? Black males, what's going on? All the modern women, location, personal video. Oh, from T-App. Well, good for them. I'm listening. What's going on? Turtle Bitcoin, what's up? Wagner. Lavaris, my Waffle House King, what's going on? Hurricane Greg, what's going on? Fernando's, what's up? Supreme Pivot, we in here. I heard that. Michael, what's going on? Ignatz, what's happening? What's going on, Fire Nation? What's popping, man? The world is going to hell in a handbasket, sir. You already know that. Barry Hamilton, what's up? Louis, what's happening? Louis says, hit the like button. Levon Hunter, you can't win. No, you can't break even, and you can't get out of the game. Impossible. Maggie, what's going on? I had one of my co-hosts in real life, where we're actually talking about shadow work, and I actually had to look it up. Maggie, look up, and it's actually on a PDF too. Look up Carl Jung and Mandelas. Okay, Mandelas. Okay, so that's how they pronounce it. Okay, interesting stuff. It's actually, I didn't think it was actually a book. It's actually a book. High Def, what's going on? Horowitz, what's going on? Tempest, Blade, what's happening? Navone, what's happening? Ferro, what's going on down in the A? Gynocracy Central. Black Money and the Power, what's up? B-Row, what's going on? Henderson, what's going on? Tunnel Runner, be just as right, and Tunnel Runner off with his Tunnel Runner. You're not you're not Jermaine anymore. You're a Dirty Foot Jose, sir. Ben Kanan, what's going on? Odd Collard, what's happening? B989, what's going on? LAXT, what's happening? I said, and Chad, I'm calling my dad tonight. I heard that. You should at least get his side of the story and tell him to be honest, okay? Because most fathers like me want to protect the image of the of your mother, okay? And so you have to let him know to really be honest with you. Give me the real truth, because I need to know the real truth. Don't sugarcoat it, and he'll give it to you. Waffle Weave, what's happening? Juice, what's happening? Deacon Brown, what's going on? Willie R, what's going on? And Dusty Templars, I heard that. Adric, what's up? Galen, what's happening? Age of Machines, what's going on? Brother John, what's going on? Hey, DJ B-Side, where you been, man? Paul, what's up? Glad to still be getting notified that you're going like, I guess they're letting up off me, man. Panda Man, what's up? Dr. Els, what's going on? Dr. Els did have a good, I don't know if it was this morning, but it's actually a very good, I guess, podcast that you had about dating over 50 and a lot of stuff I agree with. But, you can't listen to black women. Black women lie so much, man. Leo, what's up? No Fear Jahir, what's going on? Most Fet, what's going on? Tempest Blade, JT. I told you I want anarchy. I'm getting what I wish for. You ain't lying, okay? You ain't lying. What are you? You an order out of chaos kind of guy, huh? Jesse Griffin, okay. Chaos is a ladder. I'm gonna actually clip that, okay. Jesse Griffin, what's happening? Ninja Person, what's up? Hey, put a foot in my nephew's ass for me, okay? Gundam, what are your thoughts on the U.S.-Japan trade deal? We'll have to see next month, man, because this shit changes so often. There's the Woo Man. What's up, Mongo? Snowman, what's going on? Renewed, revived, and ready to throw some strikes. I heard that, man. Were you throwing cutters, or you throwing sinkers? You throwing the heat? Because I saw this cat, man, throw that 104-mile fastball, man, and the batter just smiled at him because he didn't even see it. He just smiled, and the pitcher smiled at him and said, well, how you like that? And the batter said, yeah, that was pretty good. No, basically there's a book. There's a book that's on Mandela's specifically, not out of his red, because I read the red book, but out of his but basically a book on Mandela's actually specifically by itself. Because actually the shit about Mandela's does work. You want to get in shadow work, accelerate your shadow work real quickly. There's two ways to do it, but the only one way I suggest, okay? Two ways to do it. There's the extreme way, and there's the gentler way. The gentler way is actually Mandela's. Mandela's actually a gentler way than the extreme way. The extreme way is go get you some psilocybin, okay, and do the hero dose, okay. That'll get you. That'll accelerate that shit real quick. I'm pissed. I made a dude. Let's say a dude don't do it.com, and now T-App came out. My app still ain't got no track. Well, the thing is, you got to promote it, man. I got a Maker Monday. If you got something that you want to promote, Mondays. That's what it's for. They shut down the T app for men in 24 hours. Shake my head, BGS, for thanks. Tell us about the Mandela app I've been using. Okay, how's it work for you? Brooklyn's Finest, what's going on? Johnny Anderson, what's up? Ebony Knight, what's going on? Dr. Goodbar, what's up? Dr. Goodbar used to hate that name, but now he wears it proudly. Dr. Goodbar, if you can, okay. I know it's a little soon, because you actually knew Kevin. You actually took classes with him. Can you compare Jeffrey, okay, to Kevin? So once I turned 18, he's been revealing some things little by little that I don't see or even, or that I don't see or even forgot. Well, that's true. Okay. Sometimes you're not ready. My kids don't want to know. Okay. My kids do not want to know, because a couple of them have tried it. Like my oldest daughter, she tried it. I asked her, did she really want to know? And she was 20. She was 21, okay, and she's and she's 30 something, okay. She's in her late 30s now, and she hasn't asked me since. Dirty Foot Jose checking in. That's what I'm gonna start calling you, you Latin dudes, man. You can put that link in, man. Yeah, I shared it, but you can also put the link in. I thought it was a pretty good podcast, man, because you know I'm in my 60s and and these women be talking all kind of stuff out of their neck. It's because they're in a vulnerable position, okay? Because older men can, if he wants to pay, he can actually date younger. Okay, women don't want to pay. What's going on, Rodney? Palm Beach Mike, what's happening? Desert Coyote, what's going on? Yeah, put a foot in his ass, man. Theo showed me some pictures of his latest success, so I forwarded to my nephew and said, "This could be you." You know, there ain't no excuses, okay? I told him ain't no fucking excuses. Either you want it or you don't, because if you don't want it, you don't want it. Then I'm out. I said, TB, what's up? What else we got? Mushroom. Yeah, mushrooms will do it, okay? If you do the Mandela, you meditate, Mandela, then mushrooms, or you'll get your answers, okay? But you got to be ready for. Some people aren't ready for it. You got to be sure that you're ready for it. Caroline Levette is super gorgeous. That's a woman. Okay, all right. If you say so. Chaos is a letter. Yeah. Yeah, you could get it, but it's also, if you know, it's also, you want to pay for it, but it's also on PDF. Actually had it on PDF. It's actually free. Mr. J. Matt back in the States. Okay, what you soak them feet, man. Get the dirt off your feet. Okay, instead of the white dusting off your collar, get the dirt off your feet. What's up, Art? Yeah, you should, man, because I think of all people, okay, because you're pretty, well, you're a scientist, so you're pretty level about keeping your emotion out of your experiments. So I think you'll be the perfect person that you compare. Okay, Master T app confirmed everything we knew about women. Women want what other women want, have, using the app as a brand recognition for yeah, they do. Instead of being, well, I say make them pay for it. That's what I say. The Watcher, what's going on? Salute black men. Okay. DJ, okay, that's BJ. All right. Welcome him to the phone. Mr. J Matt. Black males, what's up? Ray, what's up? Count Seku. Anybody else? Daz, what's up? There's a Mandela app, a coloring app. Okay. I would start with that because the book, unless you're hip to Jung, and Maggie will tell you, you probably won't get as much out of the book. Okay, so the Mandela app is pretty painless. So it's a coloring app. Just put Mandela coloring, and because I tried it because I wanted to see if it actually worked. Okay, so I tried. I've been using it for the past couple years, and the shit does work. Okay, it really does. I've had like, God, 30 people tell me. You know, some people stop using it because the dreams got too intense. Black males, what's going on? Deron, what's happening? Lloyd, what's going on? And the Mandelas are symbols. Basically, they're religious symbols. Okay, a mandala is a circle of religious shapes. Let's put it that way. They're basic religious shapes that have been around for, God, good 10,000 years or so. Is because women are harmless. Okay, 50 women can show up to a restaurant and nothing will happen. Nobody will think anything of it. Okay, they'll sit down and serve them. Right, 50 guys show up to the same fucking restaurant. They're calling the cops. Okay, they are black because the black pill truth is the truth. Yes, it is. Unfortunately. Okay, Red Pill Sleeper says the Mandela app does work. Okay. I might incorporate it. I might, you know, as I'm reading the book, I might incorporate some of that on my Patreon. I'll have to see. Black Toxic Masculine says it's a lot easier for an old buyer to buy a new car than for an old car to get a new buyer. Exactly. Say it again, black man. Ninja person says, for every dusty brother with a passport, a dutiful lady will be willing to wash his dusty feet with her real hair and homemade scented oils. Yes, sir. As a hot plate and let's say hot plate, hot panocha. Let's put it that way. If you know, you know. Kelvin, what's up? Let's see. That's what we got. Anybody else? Every night, where you been, man? It doesn't matter, okay? The shapes are pretty basic. Depending on whether you're on Android or Apple, it doesn't matter. Mandela coloring app, okay? All you got, because you're not drawing anything. All you're doing is coloring the shapes, and the colors and the shapes after a while will start resonating into your subconscious. Unless those guys are from the, even if they're from the NFL, they're gonna call the cops. Trust and believe. Daz, what's up? King Picks, what's happening? What African country would be best for a young brother to spread his seed? That's a good question. Depending on what you're looking for. You're looking to be for ease. I think the easiest spot right now is the one that's popping right now is Kenya. Kenya's popping right now. Okay, everybody says it. She got your beer and chicken quesadilla with green sauce waiting at the door. Oh man, I heard that. Anyhow, what's up, Big Trick? Yeah, the Mandela Penance will start moving after you paint it. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they do. Jason, what's up? You're already home? Okay. Here we go. Let's go ahead and get started, man, because people complain. I spent 20 minutes answering questions, but, you know, it is what it's Friday anyway. So, anyhow, see if I can find it, because I want to find this, because I looked in the wrong spot. Looked in the wrong spot. And I think it's under charts. Is it on the charts? Because I just found it. Here it is, charts. And this is, okay, a lot of people speculate, okay, about what the black pill is in the red pill sector, okay? A lot of people speculate what it is, right? Oh, it's nihilism, it's doomers, it's incels, giving up on life. Personally, I think incels are failed blue pillars. I don't think they're black pill, okay? Black pillars don't move that way, okay? For obvious reasons, okay? So when you hear black pill, they're listening to newbies, which are basically actually used to be called true force loneliness. There's really relatively very few. Maggie can tell you there's very few true incels. Okay, incels have a sociological problem. Okay, either they're on a spectrum where they can't communicate emotionally, or they have some kind of issue, emotional issue. Okay, where they can't really attach or communicate emotionally with people. Okay, there's very few of those people. And they're on both sides of the aisle, either male or the first incels were actually female; they weren't male. Okay, but the true force loneliness people actually adopted that. Now, if Maggie can tell you, there's actually very few incels. Okay, Russ Baggy, Elder, be just paying my tribute and respect, even though I have disagreements. I respected your perspective profoundly. Thanks for yourself. If you disagree with it, okay. The thing is, I say this. The reason that I say stuff the way I say it is because I want you to prove me wrong. I want you to go through the same research I go through and then prove me wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Okay. If you found something, and I've done that. Okay. If you found something and proved that I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Okay. Gary Knowles says once you find out that you're wrong, you change your position. Okay. There's nothing wrong with being wrong. You got billionaires. Warren Buffett says, okay, if 6 out of your 10 investments hit, you're going to be a billionaire. Okay, if 3 out of your 10 investments hit, you're going to be rich. Okay, It's more like baseball. Okay, if you bat 300, that means you have struck out or grounded out or whatever 7 out of 10 times. Okay, there's nothing wrong with being wrong. Okay. I see black pill as understanding acceptance mainly from your explanation. It could be I'm wrong, but I'm learning. Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, I'm going to show you where the exact point where black pill got introduced into. Even Rollo Tomasi had to change his perspective, right? I go there. Okay, I'm going to share screen window. Okay. Okay. This is from. This is actually from Paragon. This is actually from Dalrock's blog. He used to have a red pill blog for years, like God, good 10, 15 years. He started like 2004, 2003, right? And he ran up to like 2013. I think 2013 he actually closed the blog. Can't find it anymore. Okay. I'm glad I got this clip though. But this is from November 24th, 2011. Okay. This is even before MGTOW. MGTOW didn't start till like 2011, 2012, right? Okay. Said if your alternative is the MRA movement has zero applications for relationships with women. Okay. We need to talk about taking the black pill, meaning to reconcile that there are no personal solutions to systemic problems. Okay. In other words, okay, you can't, what you say about personal responsibility and dating stuff and blah, 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 and all this personal shit. Okay, can it help you? Yes. But the thing is that your problem is not people. Okay. People are part of what? The system. Okay. Which can only resolve over evolutionary time. In other words, once something evolves either physically, culturally, or even technologically into a society, right? It's got to evolve, and the problems have to rectify themselves over that time. You can't rush it. Okay. You can't rush it. You can't make it up. All you can do is do what? Alter the environment. Okay. You have to alter it. Okay. And any solution will very much entail a steep trade-offs in that males can't have their cake and eat it too. Okay. A prosperous population of deferred ecological pressures. In other words, look at the mouse utopia, right? Where, okay, you ain't struggling for food. You ain't struggling. Most likely, you're not struggling to stay warm. Okay. There are no predators. Okay, out there. Okay, for the most part, especially in a country like the United States, ain't no barbarians at the gate trying to kill you and kill your family. Okay. Okay. Deferred ecological pressures like we currently enjoy without an expectation that this prosperity will increase the mating latitude of females, dramatically perturbing the breeding population to the point of near evolutionary instability. Well, where we at right now, evolutionary instability, right? We ain't having no babies. The fertility rate is plummeting, right? So all the dating market, the reproductive market is so unstable that nobody can fucking figure it out because everybody's too goddamn comfortable, right? Okay. Okay. One will always follow the other as male consensus on these matters is practically impossible in terms of intersectional competition as opposed to the broad accord females enjoys through an abundant wealth of sexual opportunities, courtesy of their reproductively limiting function. In other words, reproductively limiting function. In other words, men don't have babies. Okay. And basically the limiting factor of male of human population is the females giving birth. Okay. If they don't have babies, your society is going to die. Okay, which is our society is declining and dying as we speak because they're not having enough babies. It is what it's like when we're importing people left and right. But that is a state problem. Okay, that's not an individual problem. So what he's really saying, interesting. Am I truly a black pill man? I think so. Okay. In other words, You know, what's going to determine people's behavior is not the psychological bullshit that goes around that can influence, but it's not going to determine it, right? What I tell you, women, especially women, okay, are controlled by what? Their environment. They're controlled by their environment. And there's the physical, technological, and cultural environment changes in society. Guess what? Women are going to change with it. A feminist dude told me if you're fuck your SYSBM. I said mine. I'm all about black male independence. Okay, yeah. I mean, you can't change the environment. If they don't want to change the environment, go be happy. Is it safe to say that man's biggest mistake is making the world too safe? It depends. Is it? Is it? I mean, you don't like getting eaten up by you. Do you like starving to death or risking starving to death? You like being risked either some wild animal or some wild person killing you willy-nilly? Is that what you want? You want your lifespan to be 30 instead of 80? Is that what you want? I don't know. That's what they call that's why it calls it a trade-off. Okay. So with that, okay. I'm gonna start with some shorts that I pulled up. Okay, and this is the first one. This is Scott Galloway, and I think her name is Heather Graham. I think that's her name. Okay. I think that's her name. Let's go ahead and reduce this. Okay. On the boy problem. Okay. Crap. I always forget this.
Saying, the one side can say it's the male loneliness crisis, but for women, it feels like the undateable men crisis, right? That they're going on dates with men who, don't have, sort of that emotional, capacity. And by the way, those studies around, the vulnerability really of boys, right? That if a boy and a girl grow up in poverty, obviously no one wants to see any child grow up in poverty, but boys are more vulnerable and need more support. What I would love to see is, us recognizing the skills that women have, right? Teaching boys to look up to girls.
Teaching boys, see, they want dominance, okay? See that bullshit? They want dominance, okay? But guess what? Girls don't build shit. That's the only problem.
When it comes to the emotional, capacities that they have and the maturity that they have, right?
They want to turn boys into hairy females. That's what they want.
That can be a model for them instead of, again, this, gender war.
I said I did a ChatGPT on BJ's version. I understand his point of view, and I agree to an extent, but I understand that I'm still very red pill because he has many times said being black. Oh, no, it's not, okay? Unless you're one of them people. Charles can tell you being black pill is not an easy factor. Most people don't want to be there. Most people don't even want to be red pill, much less black pill, okay? Here's a couple, okay? Another one I ran across. I ran across a couple of these, right? Okay. Scott Galloway, why women leave, why women actually divorce, right? 70% of divorces are by female, probably more than that. This is why, okay?
And also have a sober conversation with your partner. How much money do we expect to have? Who's responsible for making it? What's your approach to spending? Where are we going to live? The number one source of divorce is not infidelity or lack of shared values. It's usually got something to do with money. And also 70% of divorce filings are filed by women who still, and we don't like to say this because we like to pretend women have no agency and that they're just doughy little foes.
In other words, that's where the no-fault divorce came in and freed them to actually leave, right? In the very beginning, women actually did leave. A lot of feminist, independent women actually divorced their men and got unmarried, like a big rush until they figured out, oh, we ain't got no money. That's how come they do this clawback with child support and alimony, okay? Because they figured out, okay, we can't earn any money. But now that they're earning money, okay, Now marriage is optional, and that's what you see now. Okay,
is the man loses a business, becomes broke, or has a mental breakdown. When a man loses his status as a provider, he's very inclined to be on the wrong end of divorce. So I think a lot about young men. I think a lot about financial security. I think every man should start with the notion that he's going to be responsible for the economic well-being of his household.
see, that's not red pill, that's black pill. Okay, that has nothing to do with morals or emotion. Okay, you want to keep your woman. Okay, from divorce. You don't care how successful you think you are. What your frame is. Okay. See, God, I hate them. No, it is what it is. Okay, it is what it is. It is what it is. Okay, and hating them is not going to do any good. Okay. Anyway, there's another one, and then we'll get to a couple of the main ones. Okay.
Women, generally speaking, aren't interested in men who aren't socioeconomically at the same level or superior to them.
Interesting.
Now, how long have we said that? Okay. How long? Kevin used to say this shit all the time, right? Okay. Man, when remember we used for the marriage for a long time, we talked about hypergamy. Everybody told us that we were off, we're crazy. Okay. Now, guess what? The people at the top, because it's fucking with their structure, are saying the exact same thing. Okay. How do you rectify this? Now they have to rectify this because if you got your thumb on the scales for the women, and you suppress the boys, and the boys can't rise to a level, and then the women are supposed to take over and take a man's place, guess what? They don't want to do that shit, right?
When the woman starts making, or the wife in the relationship starts making more money than the man, the guy is 3 times more likely to be on erectile dysfunction drugs.
Really?
This is black men have been saying this shit forever, and they kept saying that this shit is not true. Okay. We've been saying this shit forever. We always knew what it is. You lose your job, you got 90 days. Okay, she makes more money, she gonna bounce within a year. We knew that, right? We've been saying that shit forever, but nobody paid attention to us.
75% of women say that economic viability is a key criterion to mate. 70% of divorce filings are filed by women. And the number one source of that divorce filing, there's really 3 things. He has an emotional breakdown, he loses his business, or he declares bankruptcy.
That's the biggest.
Okay, is there an in between? So is there really an in between 1 and 2? Okay, if in a system of holes, is there an in between 1 and 2? No, there isn't.
Cause for women wanting to file for a divorce.
When he's no longer a viable provider.
Wow.
People think it's values or infidelity. It's not. It's almost always.
It's not more. It's not values or infidelity, right? It has nothing to do with morals, right? It's dollars and cents. That's black pill structural shit. You don't have the resources that I desire. Okay, black pill structural shit. Return on investment. That's why I said don't go into this, buy into this shit about being a provider and being a real man, all that shit. Put that shit on the table, okay? Return on investment. KMS, too much pain in the system. If I don't get a family, you don't get a society, because what I am building for. Yeah. So a beach can steal it. Nope. That's what exactly, right? There ain't no guarantees, right? It's called a bad business deal, okay? Yeah, the state does, because you don't have no babies, you don't have no family. Okay.
Was related to money. Women, generally speaking, aren't interested in men who aren't socioeconomically at the same level or on erectile dysfunction drugs.
Really?
75% of women say that economic viability is a key criterion to mate. 70% of divorce filings are filed by women. And the number one source of that divorce filing, there's really 3 things. He has an emotional breakdown, he loses his business, or he declares bankruptcy.
That's the biggest cause for women wanting to file for a divorce.
When he's no longer a viable provider.
Wow.
People think it's values or infidelity. It's not. It's almost always related to money. Women generally.
Almost always related. Now, I don't know exactly how accurate his stats are. I would have to check them. Okay. Economists and lawmakers have to figure out a way to save men from themselves. How to save men from themselves? Fuck save men from themselves, right? They had the economists and lawmakers have to figure out how to save their society, because men will always save themselves. Okay. Men don't need saving. Okay, the society needs saving. Men, the thing is, they don't want men to make choices. Okay, men can always save themselves. The thing is, you brainwash men to think a certain way. What happens when they don't think that certain way anymore? Okay. Here we go.
70% of divorce filings are filed by women. Women, I believe, and we don't like to talk about this openly and honestly, value economic security more in a mate than men do. 75% of women say that economic viability is a key criteria in a mate. For men, it's only 25%.
Wanting the woman to make money or have security,
or that it's important.
I mean, the relationship.
Yeah. In some, women are much more attracted to a man because of his financial security than a man would be to a woman because of her financial.
And did not Kevin say that 5 years ago? And they told him he was full of shit. Okay. Now that the white man needs that information, and they're saying the exact same thing. They sound a lot like Kevin, which is why Jeff is here. Okay. So they went through all they went through all this trouble trying to kill Kevin's platform, kill his ideas, rake over the red pill and the black manosphere, and rake us over the coals. And guess what? They're using the same shit we talked about. Anyway.
Financial security. And then it gets speedball and online dating, which is where everyone is meeting now. And the problem is that people don't give each other enough chance. 70% of divorce filings.
And the thing is, now that United States is taking a turn for the worse, put it so to speak, okay, turn for the worse, okay, and economically, things are starting to shift. Okay, and women don't have those high-powered jobs anymore because their degree doesn't mean squat. Because according to stats, okay, Gen Z coming out of school, okay, they have just as good a chance as a regular guy who actually getting a job.
There's a lack of empathy for young men because of the privilege, the unearned privilege that I garnered. That now there's this certain resentment that a 19-year-old male being raised by a single mother who, quite frankly, is discriminated against by colleges and by the workforce. Because
say it again, white man, say it again.
Because I received so much advantage. There's been, I don't want to call it an overcorrection, but if you look at the Democratic Party's platforms, if you look at affirmative action, the DEI apparatus on campus, they're advantaging, if you add it all up, 76% of the population, which doesn't mean they're advantaging 76% of the population. It means they're discriminating against 24%, and that 24% are squarely young males. So I just saw something I related to. I was very moved by it. It was something that the far right, to their credit, had recognized was a problem. They were the first to recognize the problem. The problem is their solution is to go back to the 50s.
That's what the BlackPill was talking about. You can't go back to the 50s, okay? It's impossible to go back to the 50s, right?
When we were discriminating against women and non-whites, and I thought, there's something else here. The far right conflates masculinity with coarseness and cruelty. The far left says, well, the answer is to act more like a woman, which isn't useful either. I thought there's got to be something around masculinity as an aspirational code for men. Be aggressive, take risks, be horny, want to be a better man, want to be strong, want to be a baller, want to be kind, want to demonstrate.
So in other words, they're trying to push the old school masculinity in a way can actually adapt to the modern age, right? Okay, that's what this is black pill shit. This is called propaganda. That's why it's couched as a red pill or a blue pill theme, right? But it's not. They're doing this to actually shape the society so that society can survive. Okay, this is black pill shit right now. Okay. The same stuff that I just read to you about what the Paragon said, right? You're hearing it right now, okay? This is black pill.
Excellence, want to have sex, want to be rich. Those things are wonderful things that, if channeled correctly, can turn you into a better.
That is modern day liberalism, or what we called laissez-faire liberalism, couched in almost like blue pill terms, right? In other words, it's a black pill man giving you blue pill knowledge, okay?
Better man. And also, I think women want more economically and emotionally and aggressive men. But at the same time, I think there's a lot of men who are like, I want women to thrive.
Bullshit. They don't care.
I have no problem with the transgender community. Maybe I don't get it. Maybe I don't understand it. But for God's sakes, I don't want to demonize them. Being a man isn't about cutting off food stamps to economically disadvantaged households. Being a man means recognizing that the whole point of prosperity, the whole fucking shooting match, is to protect people. I think there are.
In other words, they're trying to shape masculinity in a certain way. Okay, that's what they're trying to do, because what the shit they have done doesn't work. I'm sure all of them dusty cloud engineers will be crying for these Western women while they are happily married abroad. Okay, these dirty foot Jose's are going to take over the world. Okay.
Are a lot of young men out there that feel politically homeless and have been told that they.
Didn't we just say that? Didn't we just say that like over a year ago? Politically homeless. Okay. Did Nina Turner said exactly that? This shit is being pushed. This is propaganda, folks. Okay. This is black. This is the face of the black pill. It's couched in blue pill terminology, but the thing is, guess what? It's still black pill.
They don't have problems. They are the problem, and are pathologized as being misogynist or as racist, and they're not.
You ever think about running for office? That's a hell of a stump speech.
Well, as a narcissist and a wealthy white man, it's obvious.
He's a narcissist, right? And a wealthy white man. Okay. He's saying that I'm black pill. Okay. He's admitting that he's black pill right there.
I should run for office. I have all of the qualifications. The reality is, though, an honest self-analysis, I don't have those skills. And there's some amazing Democrats who, the way I can be a patriot, and I think of myself as a patriot, the best way I can contribute to America is to get one of these fantastic Democrats elected in 28 and help flip the House in 26. So my narcissism lasted about 10 minutes, and then I realized I have neither the skills nor the desire.
Yep. In other words, he talked about Democratic Party, right? This is propaganda, folks. Okay, they have to put, and basically the right is doing the same thing. It's not the left is doing something different than the right is. The right is doing exactly the same thing in a different way. No, he's not a Trojan horse. Basically, he means what he says. Okay, this is a programmed approach. Okay.
This guy is the new recruit at his construction company, so naturally the team.
There's a lack of empathy.
Anyway, let's get to the piece that I have booted up. Okay. And this is Darius CEO. Okay. He only cares is because of falling. No, the whole structure is coming apart. It's not that they're failing. The whole structure is coming apart. Okay. And believe it or not, the YNs, as we call them, the wild ass YNs out in the streets, are actually part of that structure. That is what happens when the structure starts falling apart. Okay. This is apropos. Tomorrow I'm having a man-to-man convo with my son as he enters high school. One, your purpose is paramount, true. And this beach ain't shit until heavily vented or vetted. Must be your default setting. Yes. Our return on investment, man. And basically, all women lie. Okay. My daughter started lying to me when she was 3. Okay. All women lie and pretend like they don't. Anyway, this particular one, okay, is from Darius CEO, okay? And this is the real reason men are quietly giving up, okay? In fact, I haven't done it, but I still need to do it with Nick Fuentes and incels, or so-called incel culture, as we call it, because they're not really incels, okay? It's incel culture and why it exists and why they're not lonely as they try to make it. Anyway, let's go ahead and get to this one.
productive for the health and well-being of a man.
Yeah, we've taken away their purpose. When you take a human being's purpose away, remember the purpose for men was to protect their family.
To protect and provide, right? Okay. That was, you're socialized for that purpose. It's not something that's natural, okay? You're socialized over the period of 10,000 years that this was your role, okay? And they took it away.
It was to hunt in the old days, feed their families, but it was also to protect their families. It was to provide for their families.
Masculine Democratic Party, they're trying to change the environment of the Democratic Party as we speak. It's because that feminist Democratic Party shit didn't work.
And what we've done in reversing everything is, although we raised up women, and there are certainly positive things about raising up women, but when we raised up women, we denigrated men. And I have two sons.
Well, you should have known. You should have known that when because like black people are the canary in the coal mine, because our culture is probably the most fragile, right? When they actually gave black women more money than men could actually earn, guess what the black women did? They left. Okay, they left and they became independent. Okay, they became single mothers and they became welfare, queens. Is because they could make more money, get a better living on by Uncle Sam being the baby daddy. That's called hypergamy, right? You take the better deal. People don't realize that Uncle Sam, if Uncle Sam was a man, black women are actually hypergamous because they took Uncle Sam as their baby daddy.
So this is very personal for me. And I also see a lot of young men in my practice, young adult men. And what I'll say is that they feel discouraged, they feel purposeless, they feel diminished. Yeah. And there has been something vengeful, I think, about. So the feminist movement was meant to give women choice and to balance off what was imbalanced in society. But there's something vengeful about it. I think at moments I feel like there's something vengeful about the modern feminist movement, which is, let's get them, let's diminish them, let's take over, let's push them out, let's beat them up, let's show them something really vengeful. So so for me, the feminist movement was meant to create balance. It wasn't meant to set into play this other kind of.
It didn't work. It went way overboard. Okay, went way overboard. Okay, it's not what was originally intended.
Balance. And more than, I think, 60% of universities are women now, as well as graduate schools. And so that means, and the studies show that men will marry at their educational level or below.
They're quoting the same shit that we said years ago. 20 years ago, we said the exact same shit, and everybody said we were crazy.
Women will only marry at their educational level or above. And by diminishing men so much in terms of our education and professions, we basically taken men's purpose away. They feel purposeless. And the other thing is, and I'm going to say, when men stay home to nurture their children. Now, remember, as mammals, we have defined roles. That is not instinctual for men to stay home and nurture their young.
Exactly. But they don't believe that. They believe in that, as Jeff said, the blank slate theory. The postmodern feminists believe in a blank slate.
It's a reverse of something. And the issue there is that there's an inverse relationship between oxytocin and testosterone.
King Pix, how do you define a black pillar?
The higher the oxytocin, guess what?
The lower the testosterone.
Yes.
Exactly. In other words, that's biological, okay? And they've been knowing this, but they don't care. The feminists actually hide this shit.
So if we're staying at home bonding,
there's a reason for that. So mammals.
Okay. No, I didn't stutter. We got you. Okay. You don't have to keep repeating the same stuff over again. Okay. We got you the first time. All right.
When they are nurturing their young, they don't want somebody mating with them. Go away. Right. So the idea is that when a female.
There's a book called The Alchemy of Love and Lust that describes this in detail. Okay.
Nurtures. She doesn't want to have sex. She doesn't want to, right? So the investment in nurturing pushes away the investment in mating.
And this is why I've read so many stats around men's testosterone dropping when they become fathers. I couldn't believe that was true when I read it.
It's true. There were some studies to talk about how women's testosterone goes up. Women have testosterone. when they're out in the work world.
Dude, I'm sitting here reading your shit, okay? I'm sitting here reading your shit. So, you know, I've asked you to chill out. I've asked you to calm down. Keep it up. The mods will take care of you. Okay?
Fighting like men, that their testosterone goes up and men's testosterone when they stay home goes down. Now, what that's doing for sex lives, there's some research about, you know, that is the next wave, which is what is it?
And I know when basically as the testosterone goes up, women are not built to handle that level of testosterone. They become aggressive, okay, and they become mean, and this is why divorce actually goes up.
Due to sex lives, because men have to perform, they have to get it up, to be crude.
Tell me about it.
And so if your testosterone is low, you're not going to get it up, right? Which is why there's all this Viagra and these patches and supplements, and you know, because it's not instinctually normal for husbands to stay home and nurture their children. And that's the inconvenient truth. How that affects men's and women's sex life when women come home from their banking jobs and their law jobs, do their husbands?
How do you define a black pillar? Okay, you give me what their rationale is. Okay, that's shit we repeated. Red pillars have repeated that shit for the last 20 years. How do you define a black pillar? Okay, I know what the black pill is. Okay, I know, I studied it extensively. I know what the black pill is politically and whatever, right? But the thing is, I just showed you the definition of what a black pill actually is. Okay, I showed you what it is.
Not want to have sex with them, and you know, is that breaking up? I mean, so this is all. I think this is the next wave of, we've reversed things societally so fast, and then we hope that our evolutionary bodily responses are just going to catch up in merely a century, and it just doesn't. Evolution doesn't work like that. It takes hundreds, if not thousands, of years to change our bodily evolutionary response.
Exactly. What he said. Some things can only be worked out over evolutionary time, right? Okay. Some things. Okay. When you change shit, okay, that's because you want something to change. Doesn't mean it can change. Okay. It can only change over evolutionary time. That's what feminists are actually finding out. Okay. Women don't want the role that you're trying to give them. They don't want it. Okay, you guys hit my like button. Otherwise, you know, we're almost at an hour. I can end it here.
Right? Our instinctual responses. So this is, you know, it's problematic. And also when men's testosterone goes down, they get depressed. So they don't perform sexually well. They get depressed.
Okay. CA wants to sit in the corner. Okay, go sit at CA in the corner for me, please. Okay, CA Bruin, go ahead, sit him in the corner. And we're not gonna have this shit on my stream.
They feel purposeless. They can't do what they're instinctually supposed to do, which is provide, protect, hunt. You know, we talk about DEI. I mean, why aren't we talking about DEI when it comes to men and women? Why aren't we talking about that?
Exactly. That's how come Trump got rid of it. That's exactly why Trump got rid of it. Okay. Yep. Anybody else want to sit in the corner?
Balancing the scales, giving men purpose again. And honestly, we should be talking about what happens to men when they actually do stay home and nurture their young.
Is there stats to support the idea that if you're at home raising your kids as a man, you struggle in the bedroom?
So there was some research I know that was going on about that.
It more affects women than it actually does men, because women come home with their testosterone and they get like I said, you add all this stuff up, okay? And I've said this, God, 10 years ago. There's only two places for a man in a family, right? Either you're the husband, leader, or you're the child, okay? She's gonna put you in a child's place, and women do not have sex with their children, okay? They don't.
How it affects sex drive, but when your testosterone goes down, it does affect sex drive. We're just not talking about it. So I have anecdotal patients. I have a patient whose wife was a hardcore woman in finance, and you know, he lost interest in her. He had to go out of the marriage and have affairs with women who were more feminine.
Exactly. He couldn't, because he don't want to have sex with a man. Okay, the testosterone affects the females way more than it does the man. Okay, and she starts treating him like a child. Okay, and guess what he's gonna do? I'm gonna go get my needs met. If you don't want to have sex with me, you don't want to treat me like a man, and respect me, I'm gonna go someplace else. Okay.
Or more, so he could feel as if he could play that masculine role. He couldn't do that in his marriage.
Exactly. In fact, a lot of your books from 2012 to 2014, written by high caliber second wave feminists, said exactly the same thing. So she's not saying anything different.
And so, are we going to see kind of a shift in society as a result of this? We're already seeing it. I mean, the other thing that we're doing is to young boys. Let's talk about what we're doing to young boys. This starts very young. We basically educate young boys in a way that really favors girls. You know, from a very young age, we talk about being able to sit quietly and regulate your emotions and not be aggressive and not be impulsive. And these little boys are being diagnosed with ADHD, many of them just for being little boys. Little boys need to run around. They have a lot of physical energy. They have tons of testosterone. When you're like between 3 and 6, you have a surge of testosterone, and all you want to do is run and
Calm down. No, I didn't stutter. Please. I don't want to sit you in a corner. Calm down.
jump and play and be outside. And what we're doing, we're putting them in school, making them sit in circle time. So we marginalize them, we label them, we say they have a problem, we say that they have ADHD, or they have behavioral problems. And in many of them,
The thing is, okay, Thanos, okay, they have to accept the way that men nurture, because there's single fathers actually make successful children, okay? And most of the work has to be done on the female side, not on the male side, okay? No, she cares. The thing is, it's not that she cares about boys, she cares about the whole society, okay? Society will come apart if they don't correct this problem. It's not about her. It's not about the boys. It's not about even the women. It's about the whole society. It's going to come apart.
stress that I talked about is the stress of making little boys be more like little girls.
Yes, see? Yep.
And that's where it starts. And so then they go into
That's in school. That starts in school, right? That's why we have to start separating. Moynihan said this shit, man, way back in '65. You got to separate the schools, okay? Red Falls, Black Reed, The War Against Boys with Christina Hoff Sommers. That book was written back in 2000. It has names, dates, events, other receipts, it's detailed, the timeline. Yeah, it's not new.
to childhood. And
I forget her name. She was talking about the not emancipate. What the whatever male is. She wrote this back in 1970, 71. Okay.
again, the educational system favors the way girls learn, not the way boys learn. How do boys learn? Boys
And you can disagree all you want, Panda Man. Okay. Okay. You don't live in America. I know what's going on in America. Okay. Really globally. Okay. That's why. Okay. That's why you see. This is that morality. Okay. That I care about a person. I care about the outcome. Oh, I'm gonna be softer kind of. They don't give a shit about that. Okay. They need boys to fulfill a certain role to basically build families. If they do not, these boys are going to quit on them. And if the boys quit on them, they don't have a society anymore. How do you bring the boys back to the middle? It has nothing to do. That's why I call it black pill. See, you still got that blue pill shit in you, okay? Panda Man, you still got blue pill shit in you. It has nothing to do with morality. Black pill has nothing to do with morality, okay? Nothing. That's the manipulated man. That's the VLAR. Yep. That's in 1970. She said that way back then, okay? She recognized them doing that shit way back then.
have attention spans for very short periods of time, and then they need lots of physical activity. So ideally, if you go to and look at the boys' schools, what do? They run the boys like running the dogs in the park. They sit for 45 minutes or half an hour, but then the boys get time off to run around. And then they'll sit another half an hour and then they'll run around. I mean, they have like 4 Reese's Berries a day. And so that's really better for boys. And little girls have more of a capacity to sit quietly in circle time and sort of, they don't have as much testosterone. They don't have that need to run and jump and play.
Exactly. But they've known this for 100 years. It's not new. Okay. It's just not new. Okay. That's how come the feminists do not want to let go of the boys. They like them like this, but it's actually destroying their society. Because what do you think happens to women when society fully unleashes the men and they get hit with the truck stick of deregulated male productivity? The thing is, okay. The thing is, you have to socialize men and men to actually produce, okay, for society. Okay, if men give up, they won't produce. because there's no reward for it. If there's no reward for it, they'll sit at home. They'll work at Dunkin' Donuts and play video games and find a basement or a camp to sit in. They don't care. They don't care. You have to socialize them and encourage them to build for society. If you don't, guess what's going to happen? It's gonna implode. That's what's happening. It's imploding as we speak. People can change. You used to be, and you need to be usually different. You can't discount people's opinion because of their past beliefs. The thing is, we're talking structure. We're not talking. There's no individual. There's no individual solutions for this is structural. She's talking about structure, how these boys are produced in the factory we call the public school system. Okay, this is structural. We got to change the structure.
To the same degree that little boys do. They do need to play. We're not letting our kids play, boys and girls, because we're trying to force left brain development on them too early. But we are forcing little boys into this box. And
exactly. And they knew this back in 1916. In fact, there's a book called The Boy Problem, okay? And it was in Atlantic Monthly when they actually changed the educational system to more suit boys because they needed more boys to produce. So they actually changed the structure of the system to produce more boys and higher quality boys, right? And guess what they did in 1972? They reversed that shit. Guess what you got now? Okay, there's a reason that matriarchal societies and matrilineal societies die. It's because the boys fail to participate. What's going on right now? 60% of the boys don't want to participate in this bullshit no more. Okay, that's what's happening. This is black pill shit.
And they're not doing well in that box. And then they're labeled. They're labeled as having behavioral problems, ADHD, and that label then follows them.
Yes.
Through childhood, sometimes into middle school, into high school. Yeah.
What would you change? I make you prime minister of the world, president of the world, and you can fix this issue.
Oh, I would have little boys educated separately than little girls in the early years.
Elizabeth, I'm coming to join you. Okay, I'm coming to join you. You know what? Moynihan got skewered for saying that shit back in '65. Skewered by saying that shit. Okay, feminists fight you tooth and nail to keep this from happening because they want to be on top. They know the way they teach boys is fucked up. Okay, but the thing is, at best, even with the boys being held back, it's still even because the men still earn more. The men still produce more, even though there's a thumb on the scale for the women. Women don't produce shit. They don't produce shit. They're not designed to produce shit. And that's the problem. That's how come the Chinese are eating your fucking lunch. So let me get this straight. Scott Galloway wants us to support the same Democrats who killed my brother's keeper and who have blocked all black boys' schools for decades. Okay, that's what they're trying to do. Okay, what he's trying to do is convince men to come back and the Democrats to change. Okay, that's what they're trying to do. Got to remember, Brookings and the Brookings stuff where he comes out of or he's associated with. Okay, they're a military think tank. Okay, they are not a social think tank. They're a military think tank. Okay, it's structure. This is structure. That's why I read you what BlackPill in the manosphere actually is from the source. Okay, that's the original source of what the BlackPill is. All the other stuff that you see about the BlackPill is bullshit. The original source and what BlackPill philosophically means is exactly this: utilitarians, okay, are about structure. Structure changes people. Okay, not all this other propaganda. Structure changes people. Okay, if you got to eat to survive, you're gonna change. Okay, you're not gonna die. You're gonna change. Okay. Well, the thing is, Thanos. Okay, that's not what this video is about. If I want to talk about micro issues or personal issues, I would. Okay, this is about macro issues. Okay. If you want to talk about that shit, you got to pick another shit. Either pick another broadcast or pick another video. Okay, this ain't it. I don't know what you're arguing about. Like my mentor says, what she says, okay? Okay, we frying fish today, not chicken. Chicken and fish grease don't mix. Okay, can't fry them in the same batter, in the same grease. Okay, we're frying fish today, not chicken. Okay.
Early years, I would have boys' schools and girls' schools because little girls learn differently. And also, there's been a lot of evidence to show that in the early years, when you do single gender education, little girls will try things, will take risks with things that they wouldn't in front of little boys, and little boys will try things that they wouldn't take risks in front of little.
Okay, let me ask you this, Big Chris, because y'all gonna, you pedestrians gonna have me go off. Okay, for a second. Okay, what happens if what happens to the poor people if people start producing? What's gonna happen to the poor people? Not only the rich people. What's gonna happen to the poor people if they stop producing? What do you think is gonna happen, Big Chris? Because I know you guys got brains in there somewhere. I know you got brains in there somewhere, don't you?
Girls, like little boys are more likely to try art and painting and music. Little girls are more likely to try STEM and math and all these things that we talk about little girls should do. So the idea is that single gender education in the early years is better for little kids because they learn differently.
What about as it relates to men? What would you change to fix the issues you were talking about with testosterone and those kinds of issues?
Talk about it. We should be talking about it. We don't talk about this issue. How many times have you heard what I just said? People don't talk about the fact
because it's hidden. Okay, white the academic feminists hide this shit all the time, and guess what they do? Guess what they always say? What always comes back to, because they do the same thing black women do, right? What they say? Okay.
I'm done with life, and it's all Jermaine's fault. It's always Jermaine's fault. I'm done.
That right? It's always Jermaine's fault.
That when you raise, if we're going to flip this around and have men be the nurturers, they're going to have pretty low testosterone. You're going to have to supplement their testosterone. And so, and also you take their purpose away evolutionarily and they get depressed. Women have many sources of self-esteem.
No, they don't. No, they don't. That's their problem. No, they don't. That's like them they're on pills and they have to hit the internet and they have to fret because the men aren't complaining. If you go on about loneliness and shit like that, men aren't complaining. Okay, men find other ways. Okay, men find tons of ways. The thing is that what I don't like about feminists like her is they think that the solution to men is the same solution you give to women. It's not.
They have work, they have children, they're relational, and for the most part, historically, men found their self-esteem from meaningful and purposeful work, and also from protecting their families. So what we've done is we've taken their purposeful work outside the home away. We've made their purposeful work staying home with children, and we've lowered the testosterone. So if you look at it and say, we're trying to switch, it's like a social experiment. We're trying to change something.
Say it again, white girl. It's like a social experiment. We're trying to change something. Okay.
That's taken thousands of years of evolution to create.
What? That's why I showed you the clip from Paragon, right? Evolutionary time, right? Okay. It can't be worked out in the short run. Just because you will it so doesn't mean it's going to work out that way. What you're bumping up against evolution right now. They're admitting that shit now. They could have admitted that shit like 30 years ago, but they're admitting it now.
Just, less than 100 years. And it's problematic. So what would I do? I would talk about it. I would have couples talk about it. I think they need to talk about the competitiveness. I think they need to talk about the envy and the jealousy and even the disappointment. I mean, a woman who comes home and sees her husband caring for the children, on the one hand, she might say, oh, my husband's so sweet and lovely, and I love that he cares for my children. And on the other hand, she says to her friends, I wish he was bringing in more money, and I wish he was
exactly what they just said. I wish he was bringing in more money. I wish he was more masculine, right? Okay.
taking care, I wish he was taking care of me.
Exactly.
So it's problematic.
There was a longitudinal study done in the Philippines that followed 624 men over almost 5 years and found that those who became fathers experienced a significant decline in testosterone levels. Specifically, newly partnered fathers had a median decrease of almost 30% in morning testosterone and 35% in evening testosterone, which were significantly greater than the declines observed in single non-fathers. Moreover, fathers who reported spending 3 or more hours daily in childcare had lower testosterone levels compared to
Thanos, what the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about, man? What the fuck are you talking about? They're telling you what they're telling you. She's telling you what the solutions are. You don't have to wonder about it, okay? I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. No, they don't. They don't. Basically, they don't feel they're bummed. Why do you think I played all that shit about why women actually get divorced? What did they just say? What did they just say? 70%, right? Okay. What's the real problem behind divorce? And the women file, okay? It's called money resource, and they're put in a position that they don't want to be in, okay? That's why I played it for you. But you ignore all this shit. The thing is, I don't even know why I even waste my time, okay? Evidently, this is not for you guys, okay? I'm just gonna keep going. It's probably not for you guys. You guys have to actually digest this, okay?
those less involved in caregiving. And there's also an impact on co-sleeping, where research indicates that fathers who co-sleep with their...
Okay, King's Picks, who raises the kid? Okay, there's a reason society has families. Who raises the kid? You can anybody. They don't need you to have a baby. They can go have a baby. Go to a sperm bank and have a baby. They don't need you for that. Who raises the kid? We spent so much time seeing if we could that we ignored the notion of if we should. Exactly. Yep. So you're gonna raise. So you're gonna have like 15. Say you're gonna have like 8 baby mamas and like what is it? 24 kids. Is that what you're saying, King Pick? Do you have children, King Pick? I'm with you, master teachers. They're in the back of the classroom eating glue, sniffing glue, probably not eating it.
Children exhibit lower testosterone levels than those who
sniffing glue and eating lead paint.
Do not. This suggests that close proximity during sleep may further influence hormonal changes associated with parental caregiving.
Yeah.
One of the arguments I've heard before as to why men's testosterone dips if they're new fathers is because it's an evolutionary reason to make us not go out and cheat on our partner and take care of our kids.
Well, it's investment in it. So either you're invested in mating or you're invested in caring for
Yes,
your
so it's a good thing.
children. Yes and no, because you still need to have testosterone to have a relationship with your wife, a satisfying relationship. So, and unfortunately, that doesn't stop men from going out and cheating on their wives, because a healthy man would say, you know, well, we used to have sex twice a day, every day.
Exactly. You don't have children. That's what I thought. Okay.
And now that we have a
That's why I have to take what you're saying with a grain of salt, because what you're saying is bullshit. Okay, especially in this society.
baby, we only have sex once or twice a week because the baby's so small. And a healthy man would say, that's enough. I can compartmentalize. I can, right? A less healthy man might say, I'm going to go out and get it someplace else because I can't get it here. So
Exactly.
yeah, I mean,
that's what normally happens. The guy, well, I can't tell you how many times I've heard the same shit by these high-powered boss chicks, right? Okay, they go out and they spend all the money, and they come home and no matter what he does is dissatisfying, because they want to micromanage how he does what he does, because they're actually pissed that they can't do what he does. Okay, because they want to be at home. They really want to be at home taking care of the kids. Okay, that's what they really want to do. And they're mad at him because he's home taking care of the kids, and they're mad at him because he's not out there earning money taking care of the family. Blah blah blah. And so they said, "Fuck it, I'm tired of this shit. I'm gonna get divorced." And black women are probably the worst. Okay, the garbage food and chemical cooking items, Teflon plastic, a major problem in low income. It's part of it. It's part of it. Okay, it's a whole bunch of reasons it is. It's part of it.
there's nuance to all the questions you're asking. But what I would say is that testosterone going down a little bit when you have a baby in the bed is fine. But the kind of testosterone we're talking about going down when you stay home and nurture, we'll see. It could be problematic.
My last question is about devices and technology.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of books written recently and a lot of conversation around the impact that screens, social media,
Yeah.
mobile phones have on children. What is your thoughts and philosophy towards raising healthy kids in a world of technology?
Well, I think it's the American Pediatric Association
Appreciate you, Rush Beggy.
says no technology under the age of 2 for good reason. No iPhones, no iPads, right? You want to.
You know what? The thing is, Mark Muhammad, okay, you don't like the water, you don't like all this crap. The thing is, guess what? If you don't have, you know, in a natural state, you know how long people actually live? The average age? 35. Still to this day. People said, no, you know, in a natural state, people live a long time, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. There's still people that still live in that state today, okay? And the maximum, normally the maximum, not the maximum, but the thing is close to the maximum age is like 50, okay? It's like 50. The average lifespan is 35 in those natural states, okay? Do you want to trade that in? So Western women are endlessly dissatisfied. I stopped caring a long time ago. They made this, right? Most times, the closer you get to a true patriarchal society, there's more harmony. Okay, matriarchies in modern societies do not work. King Picks, shut up, man. Shut up, okay? Before I start insulting you, shut up.
Sit and watch a Mr. Rogers when their baby is 2 together, a rerun of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, that's fine, but no technology. After that, you want to really regulate that technology. Now, why is that important?
And I get a whole lot of pushback when I say that, okay? Especially from Black women, a whole lot of pushback when I say, because they want to hand off all this heavy load to technology. Okay, they really do.
Because technology.
Oh, they're not gonna let me on the network, boss. Okay, they don't want me on YouTube. YouTube don't even want me. Okay, you don't want to trade. What it said. This is the only time I actually agree with what's his name, right? Okay. About solutions and trade-offs. Okay, it's trade-offs. Okay, trade-off. Don't talk about trade-off. Trade-offs.
Raises dopamine levels in your brain, which is why adults get addicted to it too. It's very addictive. And the problem is that with adults, when you look at technology, it does raise your dopamine, but there was some research to show that technology raises the dopamine in an adolescent's brain.
It's really simple, okay? What she's giving you is very, very pragmatic, structural ways to actually raise children and boys to the point where you get a society that you want. You cannot do it just by aspirationalism, which I hear a lot. I mean, I'm so sick of aspirationalism. Okay, men just got to do better. Don't work that way. Okay, what are you doing structurally actually changes. KMS, you're in that field, right? Okay. If you want a building, a factory to turn out differently or turn out different product, you have to change the machines that you use it with, or tune the machines so that you turn out the product. Okay, doesn't work that way. But saying, okay, after the shit is built, okay, it's supposed to be something else. It doesn't work that way. I'll be the first to admit, this is wasted on me and my remedial thinking ass. It's something like this should be on Patreon behind a paywall for the initiated. Hint, hint. I just want this on the record about the black pill, okay? And Thomas Sowell, okay? I'm actually going to find it. I'm actually finding a clip. There are solutions. So I slightly disagree with them. There are solutions. They're called breakthroughs, okay? That change the paradigm. But even with solutions, there's trade-offs. I'm not sure Mandela will push that button to force the issue. It's not about pushing the button, okay? The thing is, how do you adapt to the environment that you're in? It's not about changing. It's about adapting to it, okay? Instead of wishing for something that you're not going to get.
Tenfold to that of. So in other words, it would be like if you smoked a joint, it would, make you high. If an adolescent smoked the same joint, it would make them 10 times higher. It has to do with the the sensitivity of the brain to dopamine and the lack of regulation. So the prefrontal cortex is the part of the brain that regulates emotions, and it's not fully developed till about 25. So all that dopamine that has to be regulated is more easily regulated in an adult than an adolescent. So it's not good because it leads to addiction. Okay, it's not good because
you know what? And the thing is, this is where I disagree with this feminist shit. Start training the little motherfuckers at 3 to be a husband or a wife, okay? Because they've been doing it for years, okay? A man's said to be a husband at 13. A woman's said to be a mother at 12, okay? There's a reason for that. They're trained for the role. Stop trying to make this an arbitrary decision, okay? Oh, this is going to come to the conclusion. No, they won't. Shit doesn't work. Roles work. Find a standard and stick to it. Non-standardized bullshit in relationships does not work. We've proved that, right? There's a reason that in manufacturing there's a standard. Your computer has a standard, okay? Your software has a standard. People need standards, okay? Not this loose, liberal, individualist bullshit they try to feed us, okay? You know, play a little bit more of this and we're out of here.
Particularly social media, but all kinds of technology. They get the amygdala going. Remember that little almond-shaped stress regulating part of the brain? It turns on the stress reaction.
Putting something on the wood. Thanks for all your lessons. Great teacher. Appreciate you.
Which you don't want to do chronically. There's lots of problems with that. And in the case of social media, with adolescents, particularly adolescent girls.
Thanos, okay. What happens when consequences hit? Do you have to preach to the choir? If you're starving in the street, how much preaching do I have to do? Okay. I'm just putting out. If you guys can get it, you get it. The thing is, I don't like this back and forth arguing because, you know, I studied this for like 25 years. I know what I'm talking about. Okay. I know what I'm talking about. All the little dips and daps and all that kind of stuff. Because I said this shit to an analyst back in '91. Okay, that the shit they were proposing about this partnership was not going to fucking work. And over 35, almost 35 years, I've been proven right. I don't have to wonder about this. I already know what is. Okay, because I've learned it over the past 30 years. Anyway.
It takes advantage.
Got 2 more minutes.
You have to say that this was invented to take advantage. It's not a coincidence.
Yes.
It's manipulatively created.
Yes. It was created, okay, by your elites and your feminists. Actually created this crucible, right? That doesn't work.
Because the reason that it's so bad for teenage girls' brains is because the self-consciousness, the perfectionism, is all the brain in a hyper alert state of stress and fear. You're putting those girls and boys into a hyper vigilant state of fear and stress, right? I have to be perfect. I don't look as good as them.
KMS, okay. If 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2, calculus doesn't work, okay.
My dress isn't as pretty. So you're putting children into a fear state, and then they can't separate from the device. It's like there was a movie, I think it was called Inception.
Oh, Inception.
Where you could get stuck in a paradigm. You could get stuck in this fantasy, right?
Human beings will always offload any work or any stress onto a machine or a device or an apparatus, right? If they can. Yeah, what's going to happen to the ability to actually do that thing that human beings actually took on that kind of work? The muscle will atrophy. That's what's happening. How come it doesn't work? C-suite in manufacturing here, processes and standards are everything. KPIs are tied to them. BGS tax, right? If the shit works in everything else, called standards, right? Okay. You know, even nature has standards, okay? Nature doesn't work willy-nilly. It has standards, okay? But people don't. Relationships don't. That's why listening to these crazy-ass feminist bitches, man, I tear my hair out, okay? The shit doesn't work. And we've proven that the shit doesn't work. and it's still trying to stick to. Now what's happening is the feminists on the left and the feminists on the right are trying to push a reset button to the middle. Okay, they're trying to form a way to actually adapt to the environment that they created. That's going to be tough. And why should young men accept their solution? Okay, young men are saying, rightfully so, give me something. Okay, don't tell me to do something, give me something. Okay, you know what? We gonna get you more pussy. Fuck that pussy. Okay, I can go home and on my Xbox keep my money, earn half the amount that I possibly could, because I don't have to take care of family or no chick, and be good. Okay, if I don't get no sex, okay, so oh well, I'll find something else to actually take up my time and my frustration, right? And if I need it that bad, I'll get on a plane to Colombia or DR or to Mombasa, Kenya, or to Gambia, and get that offloaded and get that outsourced. Okay, that's what passport bros are doing, right? Okay, that's how chicks are getting mad. Okay, chicks are getting mad because they can't sell no pussy here. I can't get that $200 date because that nigga's getting on the plane going to DR. He getting himself a 10 for about a week and coming back with a smile on his goddamn face and looking at me like I'm nothing. That's what they're getting mad about. What do young men want? What are you going to do to force women? They don't have to do shit. They don't have to come to the women are already at the table. But the thing is, basically, their contract is not good enough. Young men want to be content. They want to be happy. Okay, they don't want to be used. The thing is, if you can't supply my contentment, my happiness, because we've been men have been trained to suffer, become pack mules. But the thing is, after monkhood, I ain't got to do that shit. I ain't got to have kids. I don't have to have a family. I don't have to have a wife. Okay, for what? What's she gonna do for me? I can go overseas, get the same shit, get better treatment, and then come back. I can outsource that shit. Fuck all that. My passport taco tax. Men, as the thing is, men have to be socialized to actually take on a family, wife, and kids. Okay. Damn, do I have it? Let's see if I have it. Okay. I know I have it. Let's see if I can. I think I played it already. See if I have it. Video file. See if I got it up front. Because I'm actually going to do a pre-recorded on it and see if I have it. If I don't, I don't. Okay, but I'm sure I downloaded it. Here it is. Okay.
The question that I would ask you then is what is your dating life?
I don't have a dating life.
So you don't date?
No.
Do you have a perspective about who you want to marry? Do you intend to get married?
I do intend to get married and have kids.
So where are you at on that?
I'm trying to get prepared for that mentally.
What does that mean? You're 26 years old.
I like my life. I like being single. I like being a guy. I like what I like. I like reading books. I like doing my show. I'm a pretty antisocial person. And it's a big adjustment for a man to go from having a life where you can do whatever you want, go wherever you want, unaccountable, everything like that, to then you have to be roommates with women and children. It's a totally different lifestyle. And for someone like myself, I'm a pretty eccentric and, kind of out there person. I don't have a regular sleep schedule. I'm awake all night. I'm asleep all day. And my sleep schedule's moving around all the time. I like to go out on drives all the time. The idea of my wife sending me out the door, okay, be home by 10, call me and tell me where you're going. Or, I go on a trip. I got to get the car seats and buy all the plane tickets and stuff like that. It's kind of cramping my style.
Women are not competing with other women. They're competing with men's peace. And that's what he's saying. He's saying, and this is how a lot of Gen Z guys feel. It's not that a lot of them are sexless, right? A lot of them, it's not that they have another choice of a woman to date if someone comes in, but you're competing with silence. And women that don't understand men have no idea how much energy they spend, and they don't appreciate how much energy they spend just being around us and listening to our problems. They don't get it.
They don't get it. Okay. They don't get it. And that is the problem. That is the fucking black pill truth. Okay? That's the black pill truth, okay? That's what they're afraid of. It's not they're afraid of them being invited, they're afraid of them opting out, doing exactly what Nick Coincidence is talking about. I'm going to opt out because I don't need it, okay? I don't have a sex life. I don't have a dating life. I don't care. I'm doing other shit. I'm doing shit that's more important to me, okay? A pedestrian annoyance, taco tax, gynocracy defense fund ties. The black pill part of this is coldly clinical. The woman tells us what's wrong and bet 2 decades ago. She probably acted confused. Thanks for your coverage. Right. This is the structural black pill stuff. Black pill is at the. If you go back, I actually did this as far as a video. As far as look up BJ's IBMOR and the and black pill. The matrix will actually come up. Right. Okay. When Neo first encountered the black pill, was actually walked into the architect's room. Okay, what is the structure of society and how do you build it up? How do you actually build the blue pill world? Okay, black pill actually builds the blue pill world. That's how come I have the black hooded guy holding the blue pill. He actually made the blue pill. It's called a structural. It's called they actually call them not a utopian, utilitarian. Okay, you have nihilists that are destructive. Okay, you have utilitarians that are actually constructive. Right, the Joker is destructive. Okay, black pill. The utilitarian is actually a constructive black pill. Okay, Batman and the Joker are two sides of the black pill. Okay, most of your high level politicians are black pill people. Okay, whether you agree or disagree with them. Okay. Thank you, Maestro. Appreciate you. Passport OG. I tried to get married to black women twice. Okay. Lesson learned: international women from patriarchal systems only. Yep. They're systems. Okay. Why you think it works so well in Asia? It's called a system. Because would a world war change the outlook on things? Yeah, depending on what they use. A world war probably couldn't cause nukes. We wouldn't have people to worry about anymore. Thanks for all the info, especially you encouraging us not to be afraid to fail over and over like white men. That's powerful. Fear of failure is BS. It's called an experiment, okay? The construct, yes. Like I said, that's like men don't go to clubs anymore, okay? You're going to be, in other words, dating is not fun for men, especially young men. It's not fun. Why should I go out there and pay $200 on a date to be miserable? Makes no sense. I can save up that money, get a couple of grand, and go to the DR, Colombia for a month. And have all the 9s and 10s, have 8, 9s, and 10s at my beck and call. Why should I stay here and actually fund that shit, okay? I can be happy someplace else for a month or two with the same money. What if men cause? What if the men cause the women's problems? I have no idea what that is. Okay, got to rephrase that. Y'all have to write sentences that make sense. Okay. Most politicians are paid ops. Okay, no, they're basically they're agents. Okay, remember in the Matrix, the agents with the little what's it called in their ears? Those are politicians. COVID changed the attitude of men. It wasn't the women, it was the men. Men had to go through monkhood, and they came out the other side and said, "Pussy is not that important." And again, the game changed from there. All of a sudden, you have this male loneliness crisis. Men don't date anymore. They're not coming back to the clubs because guess what? Pussy's not important. There's more things more important than pussy. That's what Nick Fuentes was saying. Shut the fuck up, man. You do know why. You do know why. We just explained to you for the past hour why. Why? It's easy. Okay. Um, the thing is, you are a blue pill brainwashed. Okay, into thinking that way. So go on live later. People come up, I don't understand why. It's easy because you get better quality for less. Okay. Why do people go to Costco instead of the supermarket? Get better quality for less. It's called intelligence. And I don't know why people come up with their dumbass and come up with this dumbass shit. It makes logical sense. It's not that hard, Chief. It really isn't. You. The thing is, okay, it depends on the clubs and bars that you go to. If you go to clubs and bars with wild loose chicks, you're gonna get crazy chicks. It is what it is, and half of that shit is an act. No, we can't talk about what to do with AI, okay? Because that's not what we're doing today. If you want to do that, it's called Patreon, okay? Learning about environment and seeing it on the display on yesterday's stream makes decision making. Read Women Dating very practical. Thank you for helping me remove the Walt Disney romance from my thinking. Yep. Roller Vision, appreciate you. Go where you're treated best. Okay. Why would you keep going to a restaurant that serves you food that makes you sick enough to wind up in hospital each time and paying more for it? Well, the thing is, okay, clubs and bars were there for a particular reason, right? But the thing is, the environment in those clubs and bars change. Okay. You're not getting the same outcomes. Okay. Men are very outcome oriented. If shit ain't working, eventually men will stop going. Okay. Why spend all that money to do what? Now, women like to do it is because they like that shit. That's fine. Okay. But men don't like that shit. And they're looking for men to actually pay for them to actually go. The war between Ukraine and Russia got men deleted in ditches and their women sold for pennies. 50% Ukrainian women are in brothels. Yeah. But it's called survival. Yeah. It's called survival. That's what happens. What's up, fellas? The Red Pill community of men, Black women community of men, go where you are appreciated. Thing is, I am a structural realist. I am Black Pill to my fucking core. Okay, I don't go for this morality shit. Okay, Batman didn't have morals. He had a code. Okay, there's a reason that you don't do certain shit. And I'm a religious guy. I'm a Gnostic. I'm a religious guy. But the thing is, I'm Black Pill to the core. It's called cause and fucking effect. Okay. It's called outcomes. Okay. What do you want as an outcome? It's called input output. What did I put in? What do I want to get out? And what's in between is fucked up. You don't get the output that you want. Guess what? Okay. Either your input is fucked up or what you put it into is fucked up. And why spend $500 on 265-pound woman when you can fly out and spend less for 8 to 10 under 30? Yep, exactly. Morals are. What I'm saying is morals are there to actually are for pedestrians. Exactly. Okay, that's what morals are for. That's why I tell you to read the 10 Commandments and the Golden Rule, and you got to be a provider, male, and you got to treat women with respect, and yada yada yada, and you got to open doors. All kind of stuff is training, okay? Which is fine if you use it and it works for you. It's fine, okay? I have no problem with it, okay? The thing is, understand what it is. Marriage is not organic, okay? Marriage is actually a construct, okay? No, it's not. It's not Patreon, okay? This is actually normal. This is actually borderline Patreon, but it's not Patreon, okay? Daz, I honestly have to convince myself to want to date because their emotional labor alone is in fact, it's getting worse. I actually enjoy being single, in living life. Okay. Let me see. God, somebody sent this to me. See if I still have it. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Okay, here it is. Okay, a library card holder actually sent this to me. Okay, let's see if I can peel it back a little bit. Okay, because this is the difference between cultures in white and black women. Okay, it's apparent. It's going to be real apparent. Okay, the modern black women versus the so-called trad con wife. Okay. So, and this will be last. We'll get out of here after this because this is some cold shit. Okay.
Oh, I definitely cook. Fresh meals, fresh food.
What?
Yes.
You look in the refrigerator, I have pre-made food. It's the same thing every day because my wife does not cook. So let's get right to the point. Do you cook?
No. Jack, do you cook?
No.
You can't cook or you don't want to cook?
Cooking is for women.
That's the difference. See? Okay. Basically, basically, if we look at the white male and the black female, they're two males talking. Okay, they're almost the same.
Wow. Okay. So in Missy's manual, she mentioned a saying you have about the old bar needing a new coat of paint.
You see women that wear absolutely no makeup at all, and they might need a little something, something. My wife, she'll put on makeup before I get home and look all nice.
I normally don't.
See the difference? I mean, this is stark, plain difference. The defiance in her tone. Okay. This basically, this is a Klingon.
I normally don't.
Well, we'll see how you look tomorrow. Maybe if I need to coach her up a bit here and there, you know, and everything, maybe we could get her like Misty and start doing this every day.
See, that's the difference in culture. Same country, okay? They're all American, okay? Guess what? Different culture, different outlook, different woman. And to say that all women are the same is bullshit, okay? Here's what it is. Here's what it is. It's not whether he can cook or wants to cook. The thing is, the white woman is agreeable, okay, and the black woman is not, okay. It's a pure gold, like Destro Channel. Yep. Okay. Anyway, let me get out of here. I think I've done enough. Okay. Appreciate the Cash App, not Cash App, but the super chats. Okay. Put a like in the channel because normally I don't do this kind of stuff on this channel. Okay. This is for Jeff. Okay. This is what the black pill really is. Okay. Philosophically. Okay. All this made up shit about incels and oh woe is me and I'm doomed because I can't find no woman, blah blah blah. That's bullshit, motherfucker. If you really black pill, you don't have no goddamn morals, get your little short ass, ugly ass on a goddamn plane and go to the Philippines. You're gonna find a woman. Okay, get your money up. It don't take that much. Okay. You don't take that much. Get you a nice little construction job. Bang out 12 hours a day for 6 months and get on a fucking plane, go to Colombia for 6 months. You get all you want. Stop crying, okay? Stop being a blue pill. I'm called incels mostly blue pill whiners, the ones that do wine, okay? Stop being a blue pill whiner. Get real black pill, okay? Take the real black pill instead of choking on it. Anyway, let's get out of here. No, Daz, no, because I asked yesterday, do you actually want a regular show or an AMA? Okay, they said a regular show, thus no AMA. So how come I didn't put AMA in the title. Otherwise, I'd have put AMA in the title. And y'all don't show up doing AMAs no way. What do you know, when I have a regular show, people want an AMA. Why is that? I'm just curious, okay? If I have an AMA, you guys show up and don't say shit for the most part. As soon as I don't have what, now you see all the questions and shit I got because I had a selected show, a regular show. Now AMAs, do I get all that? I don't have 500 people watching, 600 people watching during AMA. Why is that? But then you actually want all these questions answered like it's an AMA. Between black and red pill. Well, no, I ain't gonna calm down. No, I'm curious. You know, y'all start this shit. Why do I have to calm down? Y'all start this shit. Y'all start it. Okay, I don't start this stuff. I ain't got a my show. I'm not even excited. If I start cussing and I start calling you names, then I'm upset. Okay, I'm fairly calm. Okay, I start calling you a dumb motherfucker, then you know I'm getting ready to get upset. Yeah. Anyhow, let me get out of here. I'm gonna I'll be listening to Rom tonight at 6, so that's where I'll be on Friday. I might show up on Arts after the seminar is over. Now, I could be a cat herder or a cat killer, one of the two. Anyway, y'all, let me get out of here. And I will see you guys later. Okay. I mean, I asked the chat yesterday because I only did 2 regular shows. Did they actually want a regular show or AMA? They wanted a regular show. That's what they got. So it is what it is. Okay. So talk amongst yourselves if you don't like it. Anyhow, y'all, let me get out of here. No, I didn't see your question because I'm not answering questions today, Chaos. AMAs are actually there so I can get a pulse on what you guys, questions that you guys have, so I can actually shape the shows, okay? People still get mad. BGS, you do the same thing over and over again. Actually, I don't, because people said I actually do the same shows over and over again. So I actually started going through my shows, and basically it's pretty. I got a pretty good variety for a male-centered channel. Okay, a male-centered relationship channel. It's pretty varied. Okay. I'm the original Welcome Home to Where the Players Play. Jermaine Dupri is fake. Okay, all right. Well, yeah, that's true. They also weed out the clowns, but it's called Patreon. Okay. Anyway, let's get out of here. All right, good people. I will see you guys Monday. Unless you're on Patreon, then I'll see you Sunday. Anyway, all I can say is what?
What can I say? Mamba out.
Muzyka Denis 7.